The dream first title defense, pound for pound #1. Get him back in Volk. We saw what Volk did to him. I'm gonna get him. He's too little. I'm gonna get him.
Jack Della Maddalena. Islam is too little.
Yeah, it's gonna be a hard fight. Honestly, it's gonna be. I saw his fight against Bilal. He's good, man. He's good. When he beginning fighting in UFC, he had problem with the wrestling, but now he's improved because.
I think I can take him out. I think. But Bilal really just changes stances a lot, walks forward. But I think if I have someone that just stays in the same stance, and I don't think, but Islam's a very good striker. I think I could land a lot of shots, and I think I could take him out.
Wow.
Stuff the takedowns. If I get taken down, I believe I can get back to my feet.
Before we move further, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update from the MMA world. Now, let's get straight into it. Jack Della Maddalena just sent a clear message to Islam Makhachev, calling him too little ahead of their potential fight. Meanwhile, Joe Rogan shared his thoughts on Islam Makhachev's physical presence and strength, saying he's still blown away that Islam manages to cut to 155 pounds. Rogan described Islam's dense build and vice-like grip, noting that once he grabs hold of an opponent, the pressure from his core and back makes escaping nearly impossible.
Yeah.
You know, like Islam's huge.
Yeah.
He's big, dude.
Yeah.
When I interview him in the cage afterwards, I'm always like, how?
Really?
How are you 155?
Yeah.
How?
I know.
How?
I know.
He's thick as He's got a giant back.
Yeah.
And when he gets a hold of guys, it's like he's just got this leverage, this grappling squeeze that...
Rogan also highlighted how far Islam's striking has come, stating it's no longer just a backup to his wrestling. He referenced the knockout head kick against Volkanovski to demonstrate Islam's timing and sharp fight IQ.
And he's also, his striking has leveled up significantly. Like his striking is much, much better than it was when he was younger. He's a threat everywhere. Like when he knocked out Volk with that high kick.
Yeah,
And
that was
granted, crazy. But granted, if I was in
10
Volk's
days.
corner, I would say, no.
I know.
You're not taking it. You've been drinking beer and eating kebabs. Like there's no way you're taking this fight on 10 days notice. I don't care how confident you are. I don't care how much you like fighting. That's a crazy thing. I don't care how much money they're paying you, because you look at the slide that his career took, right? He arguably won that first fight with Islam. Very close fight, loses a decision.
Jack Della Maddalena, however, remains sure of his chances against Islam. He pointed out that Islam doesn't switch stances much and sees that as a major opportunity to find clean shots. Even if taken down, Jack believes in his ability to scramble back up.
I think I can take him out. I think. But Bilal really just changes stances a lot, walks forward. But I think if I have someone that just stays in the same stance, and I don't think, but Islam's a very good striker. I think I could land a lot of shots, and I think I could take him out.
Wow.
Stuff the takedowns. If I get taken down, I believe I can get back to my feet.
Jack also revealed he plans to link up with Alexander Volkanovski for advice on dealing with Islam. He's already had conversations with Volk after Islam's recent bouts and sees him as an important resource for preparing mentally and tactically.
So Volkanovski's obviously fought him before.
Yep.
Will you pick Volk's brain?
Yeah, 100%. I definitely plan. After the last two fights, I've spent a bit of time in Wollongong. So yeah, I think probably the first stop, we go to Wollongong, talk to Volk, see what he reckons.
As for Islam Makhachev, he openly acknowledged that Jack Della Maddalena would be a serious test. Islam pointed out how much Jack has grown, especially in his wrestling game. He mentioned that, while Jack struggled with grappling earlier in his UFC career, his current work with top-tier wrestlers is what's elevated him to title contention. Islam said he's eager to find out who deserves to be called the best.
Yeah, it's gonna be a hard fight. Honestly, it's gonna be. I saw his fight against Bilal. He's good, man. He's good. When he beginning fighting in UFC, he had problem with the wrestling, but now he's improved because I see he training a lot with the wrestlers, with the grapplers, and that's why he's a champion right now, and he's good everywhere. But we will see who is the best fighter in the world.
Yeah,
very soon.
Yeah.
And it's going very quick.
Jack also acknowledged that Islam appears to be a naturally big guy and expects him to handle the jump to welterweight well. But while many think Islam will easily take him down and dominate, Jack says he's not buying that narrative.
But I'm sure people are just going to assume that Islam will just take me down and submit me pretty quickly.
Do you think he'll be big enough for 170?
I think he's he just seems like a pretty big guy.
Yeah.
I think he'll be all right.
Yeah.
Daniel Cormier also shared his thoughts, advising Islam to dial in his wrestling before facing Jack. He praised Jack's improved takedown defense and said Islam even had issues grounding Dustin Poirier. According to DC, Islam will need to fine-tune his grappling if he wants to control someone as technical and durable as Jack.
Islam Jack is going to be a great fight, especially seeing Jack defend takedowns in the way that he did. And Islam, he struggled a little to take down Dustin Poirier. He didn't take him down as easily as he had taken down other guys. So I think that for Makhachev, he needs to really lock in on getting that wrestling ready to fight a guy in Jack Della Maddalena who showed great takedown defense. And, man, this dude's got some good boxing, especially when you're in tight with him. His hands are good and close.
He and Garry gave a measured take on the fight, saying it's difficult to predict. He spoke highly of Islam's all-around game, but pointed out that things change when moving up to welterweight. He also emphasized that Jack is significantly bigger than Volkanovski, who still gave Islam trouble. Garry said Jack's crisp boxing and defensive wrestling could be key in the matchup, even if Islam is still the favorite.
Who do you think wins, Jack or Islam?
It's such a tough one to talk about. Islam is phenomenal. He's good everywhere. Size matters. When you're talking about an extra 15 pounds, when you look at the size of Volkanovski versus Jack Della Maddalena, there's a big size discrepancy. And Volk gave him a good fight. And then Dustin Poirier, it wasn't absolutely completely dominant by Islam. It was a tough fight. Size is going to play a huge part. Even on the ground, I feel like Jack could get it done with just some clean boxing and good takedown defense. But I can absolutely see Islam coming in and doing what Islam does and going out there and just looks like the phenomenal mixed martial artist he is.
Islam Makhachev voiced interest in a future Islam versus Ilia Topuria matchup. He believes that if Islam captures the welterweight title and Ilia becomes the lightweight champ, their bout would be even more massive. Right now, Makhachev says people might downplay a win over Ilia because he's a featherweight. But if both hold belts, a catchweight clash would feel much more meaningful.
Now, for example, Islam fights Ilia and he beats him. Example, people say he beat another 145er. But Islam wins the title now at welterweight. And then Ilia beats Oliveira. That's even bigger fights to create, right? So I don't think Islam needs to slow down his career. He go take, even they strip his belt off. In my opinion, he will be double champion because that's how it started. If Conor could, why Islam can't, you know? And I think it create bigger name for them if this way better rather than Islam fight Topuria and the hype slows down. You know what I mean? I rather see Islam becomes the champion, Ilia Topuria becomes the champion, and they can fight at catchweight for the, I don't know, whatever they want, you know.
Sean O'Malley also weighed in, saying a fight between Islam and Jack would be high level, but he still believes Islam versus Ilia Topuria is the bigger draw. He complimented Islam's win over Belal Muhammad, saying it adds spice to a possible fight with Jack. O'Malley mentioned that if Jack can defend takedowns and land solid shots, things could get interesting, but Islam's striking is still very dangerous.
Islam relinquish his belt and go up to 170. Got JDM taking on Islam Makhachev.
I still think Islam's skill for skill is just so high level. For him to go out there and do what he did against Belal was very impressive, made that Islam fight more interesting. If JDM can shut him down and throw those hands, but Islam's boxing is underrated. That dude is slick. His kickboxing, his timing, like he's a high level black belt in every aspect of MMA.
Big belt. Who give him that?
Jack versus Islam, I think, is huge. Not as big as Ilia versus Islam, but who knows? Maybe they both win and Islam comes back down to 55 and the fight's even bigger.
He added that Islam's move to 170 makes things more exciting, and that size-wise, there won't be a huge gap between him and Jack. O'Malley thinks Islam's complete skill set could force the fight to stay on the feet more than expected.
How do you think Islam does at welterweight?
Who knows? I heard he's not going to be any smaller than Jack come fight night. 55 to 70, that's a little bit different than 35 to 45, 45 to 55. But when your skill level's that high, as Islam's is, it'll be interesting if he goes in there and tries to shoot on Jack. Jack stuffs him and gets in his face. But Islam's striking is so underrated. Islam could put the hands on Jack, too.
Javier Mendez, Islam's head coach, made it clear they're not taking Jack lightly. He said anyone calling Jack an easy opponent hasn't been watching closely, especially after his war with Belal Muhammad. Mendes praised both fighters for their toughness and said the entire team, including Khabib, understands how serious this challenge is.
We as coaches think Jack is easier. We're stupid. We are very stupid. Then we didn't watch the Belal fight because Belal can take a hell of a shot. He can take a hell of a shot, and he took him. And he gave him two. Belal gave him two. So it was a war. That fight was a war. And you know what? For us to think it's an easy fight for us, you know, what kind of idiot coaches are we? Habib's not an idiot, and neither am I. And neither is Magomed, neither is Saif Safullah and Muhammad, the other coaches that they work with Islam.
He went on to say that Jack isn't just big, he's extremely dangerous with his striking. Mendes called Topuria the best boxer, but credited Jack for combining powerful punches with nasty kicks to the legs, body, and head. He emphasized that this fight is far from a gimme and that Islam needs to be in peak condition to win.
You know what we're dealing with? We're dealing with a much bigger guy and just as dangerous, if not more dangerous in different variations. Not boxing, because I think Topuria's got the best boxing in the business. I still believe that. But Jack is well-versed in the kicking and the arsenal, how he mixes it up. He's really good at head and body, leg, everything. He's really, really good at that. So we have our hands cut out for us. It's not an easy fight at all. If Islam, by some miracle of a chance, makes that fight to be like slam dunk, it's because we were properly prepared, or Jack wasn't as prepared, or Jack was injured, or Jack just got caught. But it's gonna be one of those fights. It's not easy. No way in hell is that fight gonna be easy. Very tough fight.
Still, Mendes has full confidence in Islam. He believes Islam will come prepared to strike or grapple, whatever's needed. Mendes predicted that Islam will do what Belal couldn't, stick to the strategy and use every tool he has. He also said Islam isn't undersized at welterweight and that Jack has never been in there with someone like him.
I just know Islam wants this one, and he can do it all. Can he take Jack down? Absolutely, he can take him down. Can he outstrike Jack? Absolutely, he can outstrike him. It may be a better deal to do what Belal should have done and what he didn't do. And that's something I know that Islam will do because he's never not listened to us. And also, the weight, Islam won't be a small guy. He'll be a decent welterweight. Islam is a whole different animal than the Jack's ever been involved with. So if that fight does materialize, we're going to see a hell of a fight.
Charles Oliveira gave props to Jack for his measured approach against Belal. He said Jack didn't rush, but instead broke Belal down over time. However, Oliveira also thinks Islam will be even stronger at 170 and will look to dominate with his wrestling. He believes the outcome hinges on whether Jack can keep the fight standing or not.
Quem que você acha que ganha entre o Jack Della Maddalena e o Islam?
Maddalena, ele é um jogo muito complicado, porque ele é um cara que ele não vem pra te nocautear rápido, ele vem pra te finalizar, ele vem te magoando, né?
Aos poucos, né?
Aos poucos. Foi o que ele fez agora na luta contra o Bilal. Só que eu acho que o Islam vai se dar muito bem nessa categoria, né, mano? Agora vai estar muito mais forte, é um jogo que, tipo, ele gosta de agarrar e botar pra baixo. Eu acho que o Jack Maddalena fazia a mesma luta que ele fez, né? Agora contra o Bilal, batendo, movimentando, saindo, machucando, é uma luta, mas se deixar o Islam agarrar e botar pra baixo é o time.
Gilbert Burns approved of Islam's move up in weight, saying it suits him better considering how brutal his 155 cuts were. While he still sees Islam as the pound-for-pound king, he warned that a fight with Jack won't be a walk in the park. He pointed to Jack's training with Volk and Craig Jones as proof of how serious Jack is. Though he hasn't analyzed the matchup in full, Burns expects it to be competitive.
Islam is working very hard. He's been saying vocal that he wants to go up to 170. I think he's a big boy. He killed himself to make 55. I think that's the right division for Islam. He just tweeted something after the fight that he will not vacate the title, and then he vacated the title. I don't know, but probably that was in the negotiation. Yeah, I like him moving up. I proving himself. He's number one pound for pound right now. It's a good fight. Jack and Islam closer than people think, especially with Jack Della Maddalena doing a lot of training with Volk, with Craig Jones, those guys that kind of back the Islam on that first Volk fight. I think they're going to have a lot of info, a lot of study, a lot of answers. It's closer than people think, this fight. I really like this fight. I don't have time right now. I didn't have time to dig deep a little too much in that fight, but I think it's way closer than people think. And JDM has a clear shot on beating.
Stephen Thompson brought up the physical challenge Islam might face at welterweight. He mentioned that many in that division cut down from over 205 pounds. While he respects Islam's strength in wrestling, Thompson said that sheer size might still play a role, even though Jack isn't especially tall.
I don't know, man. I mean, when you're going up to the welterweight division, those are some big boys. And I know Islam Makhachev walks around fairly heavy, but a lot of these 170s, they walk around real heavy. I'm talking about, over 205, 210 to the 215. Some of the guys that I have faced would walk around at that weight. I think like the height, I think they might be the same height. I think JDM might be a little taller. But when it comes to those guys and their strength, Islam, I think, is going to have a tough time. Now, do I think he could get it done? Yes. I think he's that good of a grappler. But like I said, JDM has faced some of the best welterweight grapplers and wrestlers in the division. Bilal being one of them. I think it's going to be a tough night for him. I would like to see Islam fight Topuria. That's just me. I would love to see that fight happen. But if he comes up, we'll see what the UFC gets behind. And we all know you got to convince the UFC to make it happen. And you do that first by getting on Twitter, shouting it out, and get people talking about it. And that's what Islam did. So we'll see if that fight happens with JDM.
Robert Whittaker said it's hard to predict how Islam will fare at welterweight, since moving divisions brings new challenges. Still, he backed Islam's overall ability, saying he's like Bilal Muhammad, but with better precision and cleaner execution.
Definitely. But like I said, it is hard to try to get like an accurate gauge on what it's going to look like, not knowing how Islam is going to look when he moves up. Okay, it's always the question everybody asks when anybody is moving up a weight division or down a weight division. Okay, there's so many unknowns involved. But saying that, I think that Islam can do everything that Bilal does, but way better. Okay, way better.
Whittaker also talked about Jack's recent win, calling it competitive, but clearly in Jack's favor. He said a matchup between Jack and Islam would be a real battle. He praised Jack's resilience and creativity in the octagon, and said that based on his wins over Bilal and Burns, Jack is ready for another serious test.
No, the fight, I thought Jack handedly had the fight, but it was a fight. Okay, so I don't think it'll be an easy fight for Jack. But I believe in Jack. I think he's got that X factor. He's got that hunger there. He's got the ticker. And, just like with Bilal, just like with Burns before, I think he can do the impossible.
Michael Bisping was impressed with Jack's performance against Bilal, calling it a major moment in his career. He complimented Jack's composed attitude, strong work ethic, and humble nature, saying he's the kind of guy fans can really get behind. Bisping also said Jack's steady rise through the ranks makes a fight with Islam the obvious next step.
Tonight belongs to Jack Della Maddalena. He's an awesome human being. I've sat down with him several times and had some conversations. Nice guy, quiet guy, a man of few words. But I tell you what, that was an incredible fight tonight. And he'll take on Islam Makhachev. He doesn't care. He wants to be a part of the biggest fights possible. Islam Makhachev versus Jack Della Maddalena. That's the fight that's going to happen.
Lastly, Dan Hardy gave Jack credit for his skills and victory over Bilal, but he questioned whether Jack can take over the whole division. While he acknowledged Islam's dominance at lightweight, he expressed doubt over how that would translate at 170. Hardy raised concerns about the physical demands and endurance needed, and said he doesn't see Islam winning a 5-rounder against Jack at welterweight.
I think Della Maddalena's got a bright future. I don't know whether he's going to hold the belt or he's going to lose it to another one of the top contenders and then pick it back up again. I don't think he's going to lose it to Makhachev, though. I think Makhachev holds the lightweight belt against anybody in the world, on any day, including Ilia Topuria. I don't think if he moved up, he would have much success against Makhachev. But Della Maddalena looked very, very sharp against Bilal. And I wonder what Makhachev would look like as a welterweight, whether he would look as strong and as lean or whether he would look heavier and, potentially gas himself out because he'd be stepping straight into a 5-round fight, wouldn't he?
That's it for this video. What do you think? Who comes out on top? Drop your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you're still hungry for more, go check out the other videos on your screen now.